Hello, welcome to this new Procreate tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you some drawing guide features and how you can use them, and they are really cool. And this is not a difficult tutorial, so you can follow along, I'm sure. First we have to create a new canvas, so tap the plus here, tap the plus there, and create a canvas of 3000 by 3000 pixels. The color profile is set to this one. Then tap Create. The palette is in the Patreon post. You can grab it there with the brushes. And it's totally free for everyone. So I hope you enjoy it and have a lot of fun of it. First I go for the darkest color here. For the brush I will go to Organic and then go for Swordgrass. And I want to use an easy tool, and that is under the wrench here. I go to Drawing Guide, then to Edit Drawing Guide. There are a lot of steps here, so make sure you do the right ones. Go for Symmetry, choose Options, choose Radial, then switch on Rotational Symmetry. And then I tap Done. So a lot of steps, and these are the final steps. So then I tap Done. And the cool thing is, when I use the brush here, it will appear everywhere. So that's really cool. For the brush size, I will go to 12% and the brush opacity is set to 100%. And then I'm going to create a kind of circle, not too close to the edge. Something like this. Sorry, then I take the black, that's this one. A nice and quick base, don't you think? Then I go to Paper Daisies and go for this color. The brush size is set to 8% and the brush opacity is set to 100%. And I go for a bigger brush size of 12% and add some more. Then I go for a lighter color. I will go for this one, I think. A smaller brush size of 8%. And the brush size and opacity vary with your pressure. Okay, then I go for a lighter one, this one. And then I switch to the Snow Gum. It's also under Organic and I choose the lightest color here. Then I want to add some branches. For that I will go to the colored pencil and I will choose the darkest color here. The brush size is 11% and the brush opacity is 100%. Maybe that's a little too long. I add some sticking out twigs. Okay, then I want to add butterflies, and for that I want to create a new layer. So I tap the plus here, and it's not assisted, so that's okay for now. And I think I will switch this one off. That doesn't disappear, but in that way I won't get confused by those colors. Then I go to the brush, the butterfly brush. It's also in the post. Choose a dark color, doesn't matter exactly. And I choose a brush size of about 60% and the opacity is 100%, and then tap once on the screen. Then I want the butterfly to be in the perfect middle. So I tap the arrow here and I move it. Well, we already have that lines in the middle, so it's really easy to place it. And when the orange line appears, it will be in the perfect middle. Then I want to edit the drawing guide because I want to use the symmetry tool. So I go to the wrench again, I say edit drawing guide, go to symmetry, choose options and then choose vertical. And then tap done. And now we have to make sure this layer is assisted. So I go to that layer and say assist. Where is it? Drawing assist. And now let's see if it works. Still on the butterfly. Let's choose a brush, but it worked. I will go for this big soft airbrush first, and I will start with a color. Well, maybe a lighter one. The brush opacity is set to about 30% and the brush size about 17%. There's something going wrong. Look, when I draw here, it will appear there. That's not what we want. So we have to go back to the wrench, to the drawing guide, then edit drawing guide, then options and switch off rotational symmetry. Then tap done. And now it works how we planned. And there's something else we need to do, and that is alpha lock this layer. Because with alpha lock you can't draw outside the pixels you've already made. So I don't want to go outside these edges, of course. I go for the red. Maybe an orangey color. And let your imagination go. There's no right or wrong. Okay, then I go to snow gum again, under organic, and I choose the reddish color here. I go for a really small brush size of 6%, and I start decorating. The butterfly. Then I switch to a lighter color. I think I will go for the pinkish one. And I will go for the black. Alright, now let's go to the colored pencil again, and I will start with the black. And I will add those, well, kind of veins. And you can also create some decorations. Maybe a dot here and there. I go for a bigger brush size to create those decorations, those cute patterns. And the body can be a little more dark. Okay, then I go for a really light color. I will go for the pinkish one to create some more details. I think this looks quite nice. Then I want to duplicate this one and manipulate with it. So let's go to the layer menu and duplicate them. I go for, well, about 8 or 9 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can always duplicate it even more. So now let's switch on the wreath and let's switch on the others. And you can do that by using this arrow here. When I tap the arrow a little too long, that's what I did, then the others will disappear. I will only see that layer. When I place my pencil here again, they will all appear, and of course they are on top of each other. So I have to go to one of them and move it. So I tap the arrow here. Well, of course I have to go to one of the butterflies, tap the arrow here, and I make it a lot smaller. And you can place it somewhere here. You can turn it a little, and I've set it to uniform so the dimensions won't change, but then I can choose distort and fold those wings together. So you can manipulate a little. Okay, let's go to the next one. Go to the next butterfly, tap the arrow, and first set it to uniform, make it smaller, place it somewhere. Turn it, and if you want to distort it, you can use distort, but I think I will go for this. This is quite okay. Then the next one, go to the next layer, tap the arrow, choose uniform first, make it a lot smaller, and place it somewhere. Maybe you want to use distort. If you don't like what you did, you can always choose reset here, and then it will snap to the original position. But let's undo it by tapping with 2 fingers because I liked it. Okay, now let's go for the next one. I go for the arrow again. First I choose uniform, make it a little smaller. The next one, tap the arrow, make it smaller. If you want to move it, it works the best to place the pencil outside and not use the dots, because that will change the size. Choose distort, and I tap the arrow again. Next layer, I choose the arrow. Okay, then I choose reset and choose uniform. Next one, I've set it to uniform. Then I choose distort. And the last one. First choose uniform. something like this. Okay, and then I want to add some white, really bright well, foliage, flowers. So I go to the organic and choose snow gum again, and I will create a new layer. So some of those flowers will be a little on top of the butterflies. So I tap and create a new layer, and I will grab the perfect white. You can do it by tapping double on the screen and it will snap to white when you do it nearby the white. When you do it here, it will snap to the perfect black. I will add it to the color palette. And now I don't have the symmetry tool or the radial symmetry tool, so now I can create some variation. Then I want to add some small white butterflies, and I want to add them here and there. So I go to the layer menu and tap the top layer, then tap the plus. For the brush, of course, I will go to a butterfly brush. For the brush size, I will choose 5%. And the brush opacity is set to 100%. And by turning the drawing, I can add them in several positions. Maybe that's one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, then I am going to create the background. So tap the layer menu, tap the lowest layer, create a new layer and place that layer underneath the first layer. For the brush, I will go to textures and then to wood. For the color, I will start with this, well, pinkish grayish color. The brush size is about 40%. Yeah, that works. And the brush opacity is set to 27%. And make sure your drawing is inside so you can create the strokes at once, because you don't want to lift your pencil. It's not even everywhere, but I don't want it to be even. Then I go for a gray, this one, and add a new layer on top. Okay, then I want some shadow underneath the wreath and maybe a little rope to adjust or attach it to the door. And for that we can go to the layer menu, go to the lowest layer and then duplicate that layer by sliding it to the left and say duplicate, and then go to the lowest one, alpha lock this layer and fill it with a dark color. So I go to a dark color and choose this one. I will go to the layer again and say fill layer. And now the lowest layer is filled with the darker color. Then I deselect alpha lock. Otherwise we can't create a shadow of it. Then I go to the magic wand here, go to Gaussian blur and then tap layer and slide slightly to the right. I go for 8.8%. Then I want to move it that way, so I go to the arrow and place it slightly to the right. I think it's not easy to place it now, so I can switch off snapping. And that way the moving goes a little smoother. So I create the shadow and tap the arrow again. Then I want to create the rope. So that will be on top, the highest layer, so we can pinch these together to get one layer. And so the darkest butterflies are on one layer and the other ones are on one layer. So then I tap the plus and I will go for the colored pencil brush. I will still use the dark color. Then I want to adjust one thing. In the white butterflies, the bodies will be, well, darker. So I go to the butterfly layer and of course I alpha lock this layer and I will grab a darker color. Well, I think this color is a nice base, but some more grayish. And I will still use the colored pencil brush. Smaller brush size of 5%. Let's see if I like it. Not sure if that adds. Maybe a lighter gray. Yeah, that works. Well, and when I think, well, I can use some more of these white butterflies, of course you can create new ones. But you can also select one and duplicate it. So let's show you how you can do that. I choose select, I choose freehand, and let's copy these two. Then I slide with 3 fingers on my screen and say duplicate. And then you can see there's another layer created and it says from selection. And then I can use the arrow and place them here, for example. Let's create some more. I duplicate that layer, I tap the arrow, I set it to uniform. Maybe I want some more. Well, you can play around with this. And of course you can copy just one. You can also flip them horizontal, in a horizontal way or in a vertical way. Okay, well, I think this is totally okay. And you can sign it, of course, and maybe when you've created something like this, you can post it on social media and tag me. I would love to see your creations. And well, hope to see you next time and have a nice day.